it's a very good afternoon from me, Nick Collis, here at the Orient Theatre in East London. You come to us for live boxing, 12 rounds for the vacant South African Junior Bantamweight Championship. Something new for South African boxing. Not the fact that it's a title fight, of course, but the fact that it is a new division in South African boxing. Certainly not a new division as far as international scene is concerned, but South Africa trying to get in line now with the international fight scene and throw up a few promising fighters, hopefully, in this division. 12 rounds, then, for the vacant South African Junior Bantamweight Championship. It's between Lybo and Nkoko from Johannesburg, and the local man with huge local support behind him this afternoon, Jaji Sibali, the former South African flyweight champion. And Nkoko, of course, is a former champion in his own right, a bantamweight. He's had to pull weight this afternoon to make this division. And, well, I believe he had to go to the scale twice. And we'll have to see whether it doesn't perhaps weaken him pulling the weight. But the feeling was that Nkoko was having to put on a little bit to make the bantamweight, and perhaps will be more comfortable here as a flyweight. With me this afternoon, I have a man who knows the local boxing scene extremely well. He is the manager of Andrew Machiala, of course, our national flyweight champion, who has a win over Sibali. And Sibali gets the cheers from the crowd. My co-commentator this afternoon, Louisa Ncha. Nice to have you with us, Louisa.
Thank you. Good morning. Hello. We are here today for this very, very big fight, and I'm interested here in both boxers because I believe we are going to have a battle royal here, considering the two boxers' jabs, because I believe in these two boxers we've got two of the best jabbers in the country today. And I believe this fight is going to be won or lost with the jabs. Whereas Jaji Sibali has got a very big right hand that can take out any man, anytime. He has to set you up with the jab first before he can get with the right. And that will depend on Lybo Nkoko to be able to stop Jaji or discourage Jaji from throwing the jab. As far as stamina and durability are concerned, I believe Jaji is very, very durable, though in his last two fights, he somewhat faded from round 8 onwards, and a lot of people believe that it was because of reducing a lot of weight. But maybe now with the junior Bantamweight division, it won't happen. And if it happens, it will mean that the weight thing is not the excuse. With Lybo Nkoko, we are seeing a boxer with a very good jab and one of the master counter punchers of the game. He's got a good lateral movement, and which in many cases is a very good defense against a boxer who comes forward like Jaji Sibali. And I believe if these two boxers can really go for it, as far as these good points they have are concerned, we are going to see today one of the fights of the year. But if one of them makes a mistake of just lapsing in concentration, then we might see the fight end very, very short indeed.
Well, I think a number of fighters in South Africa will be very pleased, Louisa, to have this new division open for them, because I think a number of them fit into the weight quite comfortably.
That is true, because even at this point, the boxers that we have rated for this division are boxers who are coming up from the flyweight and a lot who are coming down from the bantam, because a lot of our boxers are too big for the flyweights, and at the same time, they are too small for the bantams. And that is why now some new division has had to be made for them so that they can fit in comfortably.
Well, we're going through the ring announcements at the moment. Always part and parcel of a title fight, of course, the build-up.
And of course, Dr. Pungan is at the ringside. Mr. Mawelane is the principal officer. These are the contestants. On my left, in maroon and white flag, weighing 2.10 kg, with a professional record of 16 fights, 13 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, and 5 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you all the way from Johannesburg, Jaji, the animal, Nkoko.
Lybo and Nkoko then, for those of you that haven't seen him fight before, in the maroon trunks. A slimish build, doesn't have the upper body strength of Sibali, certainly.
15 weeks, 4 losses, 1 draw, and 9 KO. From Tanzania, East London, I introduce to you Jaji Floyd Patterson Sibali. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, an old buckman always wins.
Well, no surprises that Sibali has the home support, the East London man. They love their boxing here in East London, don't they, Louisa?
They love it very much. In fact, this is the main sport here in East London. And it is also our success story. It is one sport that in which we can hold our heads high wherever we go, because we also have a world champion and a lot of world-class fighters.
Right, the main event on this Old Buck Gin promotion, 12 rounds for the vacant South African Junior Bantamweight Championship. Straight away at Sibali, looking to control the center of the ring and force the action, testing his man to the body and a slip there.
Jaji is always very comfortable when he has got to move forward, and his jab is like a punch. The first thing that the man has got to do is to stop him from jabbing, because if he cannot jab, then he doesn't have a way to set you up for the right. But if you let him keep the jab on your face, then there's going to be trouble.
And Nkoko is a good mover.
Nkoko is a good mover, good lateral mover. And lateral moving is one of the best defenses for the boxer who comes forward like Jaji Sibali. But now whether he can be able to use that lateral movement to his advantage today remains to be seen.
Well, already we can see that Sibali's not scared to throw that right. He's thrown a few. None of them have caused any damage yet. In fact, none have landed. Trying to set his man up off the jab. And that's a good right.
Jaji is a very terrific puncher with that right hand. And if Nkoko lets him get at him again and again, we might see a very end to this fight.
Certainly Sibali looks the stronger of the two at the weight, but builds can be deceptive in boxing. They're not the be-all and end-all, these big muscular types. Doesn't necessarily mean they have superior strength or hand speed or anything for that matter.
In fact, the very muscular boxers have been found to be very vulnerable, especially if he is muscular by nature. Unless the guy is muscular because he has worked for it to be muscular. But a lot of them, with a lot of those big muscles, you will find that they don't really take it. But I know Jaji Sibali. He can take it. He's very strong and he's determined.
And will be a lot happier at this new weight.
I think so. I think it's going to be a lot happier, though the difference isn't much from the flyweight limit. The flyweight limit is 50.8, this one is 52.16, and the difference is just 1.6, about a kg and a half. I don't believe if a man has real weight problems, this is much of a difference.
Nkoko will be looking, of course, to counter as Sibali throws the right. Sibali working to the body.
He's one of the best counter punchers in the division. And I think it's durable, because I've seen a lot of fights in which he's been involved, big fights like the fights he had with Derek Whitebone. He hasn't been dropped as far as I know, which means he's a very durable one and he can take a punch. But the main thing that makes me worried about him is that his work rate tends to be too low.
Both fighters, of course, coming off a loss. As we finish the first round, Sibali with a loss to Andrew Machala and Nkoko losing to Derek Whiteboy. How did you see that round, Louisa?
I believe it was a fairly even round, with Jaji Sibali throwing the more punches, Nkoko in content on countering the blows. But I think now if you have got to come to judging the round, I think Jaji Sibali took it because he's the one who was throwing the punches, and he even scored with a good right hand.
A new division in South African boxing, then the junior bantamweight division. And let's hope we are going to throw up some international prospects in this division then. It's been contested now on the international scene for about the last 10 years, the junior bantamweights.
I believe we're going to stand in very good stead internationally with the win of Jaji Sibali and Nkoko, And good up-and-coming prospects here in East London, like Toto Mokorotlo, who's one of the best prospects in this division today. In fact, I believe the winner will have to fight him.
Into the second we go then. The first round, pretty even on our cards. A feeling out process. Well, Sibali's busy with that jab, and Nkoko countering with one of his own. And right over the Sibali jab there from Nkoko. Not doing too much damage, though. They fall into a clinch. The referee this afternoon is referee Jacobs, separates the two fighters.
Nkoko has started to counter the Sibali jab. He's countering with a right, though he hasn't really scored with a good one there, but he's working on the jab. And I believe it is one of the ways of countering a jab. You counter with the right, you pair with the jab, or you throw the right to the body. A lot of guys will just duck the right and walk in inside, but he's countering with a right of his own over the jab.
Solid right to the body from Sibali.
Sibali is taking his attacks from the body to the head, and I think he's scoring pretty well at this point. Though Lybo Nkoko is taking the punches beautifully, and he threw a very good right there.
Well, the crowd got excited about it, but I don't think it landed.
He rolled it.
Might be a good move of Sibali to go to the body. He's a little frail looking in Nkoko.
He saw the right coming, and he just laid back.
Well, Sibali's headhunting at the moment.
Jaji is really working with his right hand there, though he hasn't really scored with a very good one there. Nkoko is having his hands up, and he's moving his head a little bit sideways. That is how he rode the last right that Jaji threw.
Sibali, the busier of the two, and Nkoko content to counter for the time being.
I think his defense is very good, but
well, he took a left there.
his defense is very good, but to win the fight, he'll have to throw punches. He has started to work now. And I believe he also will have to work from the body upwards.
Both men experienced campaigners now, former champions.
Yes, as far as the experience is concerned, I think the men are evenly experienced.
And perhaps Sibali's work rate just shading the round there. But a close one to call.
Yes, I believe so too. That's why Nkoko will have to work a little bit more, because as the fight goes on, he will have to be winning the rounds. And that is what counts at the end of the fight, winning the rounds. Though I believe he's slipping the blows beautifully, using his lateral movement, and he's countering over the jab, having his guards up, but he will still have to throw the punches now.
A good view from our overhead camera. It is a 12-rounder, of course, so there's a long way to go, and pacing yourself in a fight like this is important too. And Nkoko seems to be doing that quite nicely at the moment. Sibali it is who is the aggressor.
Sibali is the aggressor, and Sibali has always been the aggressor, and he will always be the aggressor. The only way to beat him is to find a counter to his aggression. And I believe the first is to stop that strong jab that he throws.
Nkoko pretty much prepared to stand his ground, though. He's not going to be backed up by Sibali. At least try not to be. Some good jabbing by Nkoko. And
he's starting to work
hook to the body.
Now, to the body, yeah.
Got some very nice moves, Nkoko.
Good lateral movement. With the lateral movement, you are able to move aside from a boxer and let him throw his punches, and you stay by his side and you are able to counter You don't have to move back.
You get yourself into position to
You
punch.
get
with
yourself
that
into
lateral
very
movement.
good position. You are able to give your men the angles. And I believe Nkoko is very good at that.
Well, Sibali showing his strength inside.
He's got very good upper body strength. And in fact, you can see by the difference in their physiques after.
He's got a nice pair of shorts on, too.
What's the color? Is it Puerto Rico, America?
There's something a little American about the look of Jaji Sibali this afternoon. Some good punching there by Sibali. Nkoko seems to have taken them well.
Jaji is getting some very good punches there. And against the power puncher like him, you don't want to let those punches get you all the time because they have their toll as the fight goes older.
Well, that's for sure.
And the way I'm looking at it now, Jaji is content on just throwing the punches even if he hits the hands of Nkoko. And that way, it will make him numb towards the end of the fight. It is just another tactic of tiring your men down.
Well, he's certainly not scared to throw that 1-2 combination. The left jab and the right cross immediately follows it. That's the way Sibali's fighting at the moment.
Yes, like you will see with other boxers, they will throw the jab, but they will be scared to throw the right. They are scared of counters. He's scared that when he throws that right, something else will be coming. Jaji is certainly not scared to do that.
Both men at this stage of the fight pacing themselves pretty well. Sibali working that little bit harder, and that's his style, of course. And Nkoko is the counter puncher, is the mover. And he's standing his ground quite nicely, but I think Sibali's work rate at the moment is perhaps shading the round.
I believe so. I believe Sibali is shading the rounds, though towards the end of the round, Nkoko started working inside, because I believe that he can do a better job working inside than Jaji, because he has his hands very close to him, though Jaji is a little bit wide. So Jaji will be better than him outside, but inside I think Nkoko will do a better job, and he did it towards the end of the round.
Well, there you see Sibali scoring from the outside, driving Nkoko back, and Nkoko falls into a clinch. Quite content to do that.
Seconds out, round number 4.
On we go then in no time at all. We're into the fourth, the 12-rounder for the vacant South African Junior Bantamweight title, and it comes from East London, the Orient Theatre. Sibali drenched in sweat at the moment, and Nkoko looks pretty dry. Perhaps that's an indication of just who is working at the moment and who is content to, well, see how things turn out. Nkoko the counter, Sibali forcing the action, using that superior upper body strength to push Nkoko back when he can.
Sibali is trying to back him up. He's trying to keep him on the back foot, but I see that Nkoko doesn't allow that. He doesn't want him to move back. He's having those guards right up and very close to him. He's working inside, but Jaji is throwing the more punches there.
Both men working hard on the inside, and referee Jacobs unhappy with Nkoko's elbow.
I think Nkoko is a very cool customer. It's a good trait for a good boxer, but sometimes you've got to throw the coolness away to be able to fight some more to win the fight.
Well, he's very focused. He has a look of concentration in his eyes. He doesn't take his eyes off his opponent. Well, that's the key to good boxing. Keep those eyes on your opponent.
It's like they say in boxing that keep yourself protected at all times. And the first way to protect yourself is to keep your eyes on your opponent.
see the punches coming, and more importantly, you see the openings.
He's got a very good left hand, Nkoko.
He pivots nicely off it. In the fourth round, we are running to the close of the fourth round now. And at our cards, unofficial, Sibali perhaps just shading it on pure work at the moment.
And both boxers are at the center of the ring.
Well, they were at the center of the ring. Sibali now forcing Nkoko back onto the ropes. Perhaps trying to steal the judge's eye in the closing stages of the fourth round. But Nkoko now turns Sibali.
No one of them is allowing the other to dictate the terms, because the first way to dictate the terms is to push your man back to the ropes. And I believe both of them are doing a very good job keeping the fight at the center of the ring.
Well, a good fourth round, but a difficult fight to score. In the corner of Lybo and Nkoko we go.
He looks very cool in the corner. Looks like he's in control of everything.
Here we see Sibali really on just pure strength, managing to back Nkoko into the ropes. There you are, there's the shoulder.
He's using his upper body strength, he's using his shoulders to push his man back and then score with body punches. But I think Nkoko is not allowing that to happen. It shows his experience.
Round number 5.
Nkoko slow to get off his stool.
He tries to get every minute of it on the rest. He doesn't stand up until that gong goes, then he stands up. He's trying to utilize every second of it. It's a long way to go, 12 rounds.
A new division then in South African boxing. And one of these two men will leave the ring this afternoon, the newly crowned South African junior bantamweight champion.
Both of them experienced, both of them former South African champions. Jaji, the former South African flyweight champion, and Nkoko, the former South African bantamweight champion. And each one of them today wants to redeem himself.
I say both will leave the ring. One will leave the ring, but perhaps both will leave the ring. We've already had 2 draws on the undercard already this afternoon. And this is a close contest this afternoon. Difficult to score this one.
It's very classic. It's very difficult to score. As a result, even if one of them leaves as a loser, boxing will be the winner.
I like the way you said that. Sibali working to the body. Nkoko, though, has it covered. See how he keeps the elbows in there.
What surprises me there is that when they go inside, Nkoko is the one well poised to throw the punches, because he has his punches inside, but for some reason he doesn't throw.
I was about to say, he may be well poised, but he's not throwing the punches inside.
Jaji Sibali has his hands outside, but he's the one who's working. And that catches the eye of the judges, and at the end, when they have to score, they score for the man who are throwing the punches.
Oh, good right by Sibali. I think that landed. Certainly Nkoko fell into a clinch straight away. May have been caught by Sibali right there. Well, Sibali's varying his attack from body to head very nicely. Referee Jacobs separates the two. And straight away it's Sibali who pushes the attack once more. They are using those arms, those shoulders, that superior upper body strength.
Nkoko is very good. He throws his punches, but he doesn't really impose his will on his man.
Oh, that was a good punch by Nkoko.
And if he could score with more punches of that sort, we could see something different. but he doesn't really throw cautions to the wind and impose his will on the man.
Well, he caught Sibali coming in with a fine punch there.
He's too cautious.
Was that an uppercut I saw? I think it was the first uppercut really that we've seen from the fight, and perhaps we'll see a few more from Nkoko. It's a good scoring punch that. His corner will have to work on his glove. Tape coming loose from the right hand.
I think this was a very good round for Nkoko. Though the more punches were thrown by Jaji Sibali, the more telling blows, the better punches were thrown by him. And I think he has shaded this one round.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Luisa. Effective punching by Nkoko. Sibali doing the work, but the effective punching coming from Nkoko.
Because in boxing, that is what counts. The effect of punches. Sometimes they will say that the more aggressive boxer will win, but what about constructive aggression? You can be aggressive doing nothing, and then you can be laid back, moving back, but scoring and winning the fight. But at this point, Lybo is laid back, but he's not working enough.
Couldn't agree with you more. At the risk of sounding boring, I thought last night's fight between Sugar Boy Malinga and Nigel Benn. Malinga, although he went back for much of the fight, was doing the constructive scoring.
He was doing the better fighting, especially scoring with the jab. And he scored with the jab all night long. And at the end of the fight, I thought it was unlucky that they give it to him.
Be interesting to see what the British press has to say about it today, of course. It's a fair barometer of who won the fight, the British boxing press.
And the other interest is what the next step will be for Sugar Boy Malinga now.
Well, that's in the future. We're in the present now with Jaji Sibali and Lybo and Nkoko for the vacant South African junior bantamweight title. New division in South African boxing.
Nkoko has started to work some more now, and he's really throwing the right.
He's very economical in his punching, is Nkoko. Most of the punches being thrown by Sibali, and that's been the pattern for much of the fight. But Nkoko is starting to land now.
That worries me, especially when you're fighting away from home. I believe when you're fighting away from home, you should fight some different fights so that everybody who's there must see that you are beating the other guy. But when you let all the rounds be as close as this is, it worries me a bit. He's starting to score with a very good jab there, up and down.
Most of the support ringside is for Sibali, the local fighter.
But there's good support here, yes. Because it's home, and the people here, they root for their own. It is only when the visitor really shows them something that they go for the visitor.
Well, there,
very good from Nkoko there.
Nkoko did show them something. Good combination.
I think he's coming back into the fight now with some good combinations. All they have to do is to keep that one up.
Nkoko weighing in slightly heavier than Sibali. In fact, had to make a second trip to the scales. And there was a suggestion, perhaps, that might weaken him, trying to make the weight. But it doesn't look to be the case. He looks quite comfortable at this weight.
I don't believe so. The only time is when you have got to drop a lot of weight or when you really have a weight problem. But with him, I don't think he has a weight problem. I think it was just a question of making a mistake. And he was only 19 grams over the limit, which was not really much. And Jaji has come back to work on him now.
Well, there's some good punching by both fighters. Sibali throwing that left hook and Nkoko replying with one of his own. Sibali works the body, and Nkoko the head. Sibali the head. And Sibali's got a problem with his glove now.
We're seeing some very good infighting here.
Nkoko with a good right to Sibali's head. Well, that was perhaps the best minute of the fight.
This is a very, very difficult fight to score. And at this point in time, I don't know what to say, but all I can say is that Nkoko now is starting to throw some more punches, and the fight, as it grows older, is getting more and more interesting. We are seeing some very, very good infighting, especially when Nkoko starts to throw the blows, but most of the time he is not throwing, and Jaji is doing the throwing.
Both men trading blows in the center of the ring. Lovely shot from the overhead camera. It really does allow you to see the footwork as well as the effectiveness of the punching quite well.
At this point of the fight, I have Jaji Sibali ahead by 2 points. But our scorecard is not official, of course. The judges may be seeing the fight differently. But we only talk about what we can see. But at the end of the fight, the judges' scorecards will be the ones that will decide who the new South African Junior Bantamweight champion is, and the first, of course.
Nkoko perhaps has to pick up the pace, but he's judging his pace of the fight very nicely. We're only into the sixth now, and we have 6 to go in this title fight over 12 rounds. I hope I got my sums right there. Didn't see the round call.
We're going for the 6th round. This is the 6th round.
Well, the fight's hotted up now.
Jaji really got with some good body blows and a left hook there.
I don't know that Nkoko wants to stand there and trade with Sibali.
I think he can if he throws some more punches, because it looks like even he himself, he is more comfortable inside. But the main thing is that even though he is the one who is well poised to throw the punches inside, he doesn't throw. Maybe if he could throw some more punches inside there, he could make the difference. But he just keeps the guards up there.
Strange, these fighters, Louisa, that sometimes need to be hurt to bring them alive. Michael Nunn was a great example of that, the middleweight champion, the former middleweight champion. You had to hurt him to actually see him fight.
That is true. A lot of other boxers, when they get hurt, it's time that the fight goes off. They really lose interest in the fight, but a lot of them, you really have to give them that nerve to see that now they are getting beaten, and then they fight.
Oh, it's a low blow.
Now that is a low blow, but the no foul rule doesn't apply here. A man cannot win a fight here because he has been hit low. If the referee feels that he's been hurt, he'll give him some 6 minutes to recover. But as it is now, Nkoko is back again. But if he had stayed there, he would just have been counted out, and that would be the end of it.
Well, that's not the way we want to see the fight end. This is a good fight.
That is true. It would be such a sad way to end such a good fight on a foul.
Nkoko was Sibali with a grazing right to Nkoko's jaw. And Nkoko's got a problem with that glove again. In fact, the referee may call timeout for work on that glove, and allowing the fight to continue.
Jaji scored with a good right to the body there, and Nkoko didn't seem to like it.
Good jabbing by Sibali, and the right there, the 1-2, the jab, the right cross. Good punch on the inside there. Perhaps caught Sibali coming in. And that was a good right from Nkoko.
He caught him coming. It was a good one.
Got to be careful, Sibali, that he doesn't lunge too much when he forces the pace with Nkoko. Nkoko's very good at stepping onto that back foot and then transferring his weight forward again.
Yeah. This is now the halfway stage of the fight. We are going for the second stage. And at this point, Nkoko has shown some traces of being a very good boxer, that he can really do it. Now there is the...
Difficult to see just what did happen there.
Yes.
There was no obvious low blow, but obviously Nkoko was hurt below the belt.
Like I was saying, this is the second half of the fight, and he hasn't really started going into full gear. And I think that is the time where his cornermen have got to really shake him up now, to start fighting, to show that he really wants to win this fight. There's welcoming Mita, the IBF junior featherweight champion, who has just defended his title for the 6th time in a fight that really proved him to be one of the worthy champions in the world.
And no doubt about who he is supporting here. An East London man, and he's right behind Sibali. Yes, as you say, I think Nkoko's got to try and pick up the pace a little bit.
He has to pick up the pace a little bit to show that he really wants to win this one. Because he cannot be cool all the time, and defense will not really win him the fight.
A clash of wills. The man that wants to win more invariably does.
Look at those hands now. The Jaji's hands are outside, but he's really working. Nkoko's hands are inside, but he's just keeping them there.
Well, they're all scoring from Sibali at the moment. Catching the judge's eyes, surely.
Nkoko wants to get him with an uppercut as he comes in, but he has not been able to time the punch correctly. Because the other problem that he has is that Jaji's punch doesn't come square, so it's difficult to score with an uppercut when the man comes with the left shoulder pointing straight to the ribs of the other opponent. If Jaji was coming square, he would get him, but he's finding it very difficult.
Well, it's the same old story about Nkoko. He's got the punches, not using them enough, though.
That's the uppercut now. He scored it good, but he'll have to use some more. That's a good right. He shook him there.
Sibali took it well.
Yeah, he shook again.
Not a good right.
That's the right again. Really getting him with that right there. And Sibali will have to really watch out. Sibali's left hand eye is beginning to close. And in his last two fights, he has had cuts there.
Well, Nkoko's not a devastating puncher, but he'll sting you.
But if he keeps scoring again and again and again, then he might start to have an effect on his opponent. Delta right again. It's a pretty good one. And if somebody lets it score all the time, then we might see something else.
Well, Sibali landed a big right
Sibali
there.
got him.
And the noise here at the Orient Theatre when Sibali connects anything like solid is quite phenomenal.
That's the people here. That's the local fans. They root for their own.
Pack these fans into a suitcase and take them around the country with you. Both men have scored effectively in this round. Low blow from Nkoko, and the bell goes, and there's a punch after the bell, and it's all a little unnecessary, but it just goes to underline that this is serious business for the vacant South African junior bantamweight title. Lybo Nkoko against the local man, Jaji Sibali.
I believe that was the best round for Lybo Nkoko. In fact, I think he shaded this one. He scored with three beautiful right hands there, well played, but Jaji Sibali took them well. But if he can score with such punches for the next 2 or 3 rounds, maybe we could see something else.
He was definitely rocked, though, by a Sibali right. Saw the legs buckle slightly and immediately went into the clinch, and he's still holding on.
That is a sign of a good boxer. He knows when he's hurt, then he says, I must hold. In fact, holding is not a foul. Holding is not a foul in boxing. It is just a way of buying time for yourself. That was a pretty good
That's
round.
why Tommy Hearns lost his first fight to Sugar Ray Leonard, of course. Didn't know how to hold. When Leonard caught him, he tried to trade with Leonard, and well, it was the end of Hearns.
Muhammad Ali was one of the best holders. In fact, I think he was the best holder ever. He used it pretty well.
Well, here we go then. Perhaps Sibali's still slightly ahead, but a very difficult fight to score this.
We are in the 8th round now. And we have Jaji Sibali ahead on points. But we have Nkoko starting to get into the fight now with a very good right hand and left, as he just did with the left hook now.
Both men working the body. Referee Jacobs. And Nkoko lands with a good right hand. Sibali did well to stand on his feet.
That was a good right, and it really hurt Jaji Sibali. In fact, he nearly went down. And if such rights can keep scoring often, we might see another end to this fight.
Well, the concentration there is in Nkoko's eyes. He's not going to go wild. He's going to pick his shots here.
He's an old pro. He's experienced. He knows exactly what to do now. He won't go wild. A lot of boxers at this point in time will go wild and they will get caught with a big punch themselves. But I don't think Nkoko will do that. And in fact, I think He is working on it now.
Try and set it up off that jab again.
Jaji Sibali hasn't really got back to the fight. The effect of that blow is still on him.
Perhaps the most telling punch of the fight.
It was.
Sibali looked ready to go, but he stayed on his
Certainly
feet.
was. In fact, he nearly fell from that one. But there's another good punch from Nkoko. If he could score, if he could keep throwing more of those blows, he could really turn the fight. Because as it is, Jaji Sibali now doesn't know what to do with those punches. In fact, even his work rate has dropped now.
And the sign that Nkoko is getting into this is the fact that Sibali is being backed up ever so slightly by Nkoko as things stand. Nkoko pressing forward for perhaps the first time in the fight.
Yeah, Sibali is backing now. Nkoko is keeping him backed up now. Maybe he's starting to feel him.
Good right by Nkoko. Didn't quite land flush. Sibali has a bad habit of lunging at his opponent, Nkoko.
It surprises me because his jab is so good.
No need for it.
He should be able to set you up with the jab, but he throws the jab. He gets with the jab, but now he lunges when he's got to throw the right. Something wrong with the gloves there,
Well,
but I think that it's a good round for Lybo Nkoko anyway.
This happens so much in boxing these days, tape coming loose from gloves.
You think something should be done about it?
Oh, I think it's just shoddy work in the corner.
Well, I don't know.
Talking about the corner, let's go into the corner of Jaji Sibali. A worrying round for him, the last.
We're going for round 9.
Let him come.
There's Jaji Sibali in the corner. He really got received some very good punches there, and I believe he lost this last round. And if he's going to let such good straight rights and uppercuts get to him, we still have got 4 rounds to go, and that might mean a lot to me.
Well, it's been called the 10th. We had it captioned as the 9th. An exciting fight.
It is the 9th.
Let's hope the boxers know which round it is. Sibali still looks to have a problem with that glove.
Good boxers know what rounds. They never lose the round. Some good boxers even know the minutes. They know when it's going towards the end of the round.
Well, we're not going to get through this round without a stoppage. Looking at Sibali's glove. Good right by Sibali. That caught Nkoko coming in. Some good jabbing too by Sibali. Looks like he's back in the fight.
Jaji Sibali is really getting with the rights now. He's back into the fight and he's throwing very good right hands. Looks like Lybo Nkoko now is starting to work some more, though at this point Jaji is doing the work and is doing the scoring. And on our scorecard here we have Jaji Sibali ahead by 1 point now.
Well, that last round from Nkoko certainly narrowed the gap. Very close one to call this. Difficult fight to score, as we've been saying all along. And it could go all the way to the 12th.
Yes, Lybo Nkoko has really come into the fight now. All he has to do is got to keep throwing the punches. But he must also worry about Jaji Sibali's punching power.
I think Sibali's the type of fighter who doesn't lose power either through the fight. You find some fighters who are terribly powerful for the first couple of rounds, but as soon as they start to tire, they just haven't got it anymore.
I know him.
And Sibali looks dangerous all the way.
He doesn't lose power. he is powerful right up to the end of the fight.
And certainly he's caught Nkoko a few times in this round. Tasted leather has Nkoko, as the saying goes.
You think that's starting to look weary now? And now these are the championship rounds now. This is where the man who will win the fight will really take up the fight now and take it home.
Well, I think you summed that up very nicely, Louisa. These are indeed the championship rounds.
The boxers are starting to look weary now, and what we'll realize is that a lot of boxers now at this stage of the fight, they lose the concentration. And the punch that has been hunting him for the whole day might just get him now.
I was about to say, you've got to suck the air in deep now. You've really got to try and find something from the bottom of your heart. Go out there and win the title.
And the corners have got to work really hard now to make you come back fresh for the next round.
Now, make sure that you have
Sibali's getting a good talking to. Nkoko off his stool early. Earlier in the fight, he was content to stay on the stool as long as he could. Into the 11th.
I thought Jaji Sibali shaded the last round, and I think he is ahead by 2 points again. So Nkoko needs round 10, 11, 12 to turn the fight around.
Well, obviously the tape that we see loose on Sibali's glove is worrying me a lot more than it is worrying referee Jacobs. Done nothing about it. Both men trading jabs in the centre of the ring then. Sibali works the body.
Some good infighting then. I think Nkoko has started to throw some more inside now.
Good right hand from Sibali. That caught Nkoko. Not a good right to the body by Sibali. Remains a dangerous puncher.
He is a dangerous puncher. And he will remain one right up to the end of this fight if the fight goes 12 rounds.
And a very hard worker is Jaji Sibali.
I think they should do something about that lace on Jaji's glove, because it might cause a cut on Nkoko. Again, Jaji is doing the more work, and Nkoko is waiting for that one single punch. And the way things are going, it may never come. But boxing being what it is, it may come.
Well, you're right. Nkoko does seem to be looking for that one punch now. Whether he's tired or not, difficult to tell. Certainly not sweating as much as Sibali. Sibali bathed in sweat, has been the entire fight. Nkoko, one feels, should try and work off the jab a little bit more. There he throws a nice one. Once again, a close round. But I think Sibali on pure work rate shading that one.
I think Jaji Sibali is really wrapping up the fight now. Just on pure work rate. He just throws all the blows. And Nkoko is not throwing as much as he should. And he needs only 2 rounds now to sway the fight to his favor.
Into the last round we go. Well, it's been a great fight. We are definitely going into the last round, no question about that. Sibali knows it, and Nkoko knows it. And in fact, I've just caught the ring girls board, so we know it too. Shaking hands they are. 12th and final round then. South African vacant junior bantamweight title. On our card, Sibali ahead. And that glove has really come loose now. Time out.
Yes, you're right. I've missed the round. This is not the 11th round. This is the last round. And Nkoko needs only 1 round. 3 minutes now to sway the fight to his favor. And I believe if he fights the way he's been doing the last 2 rounds, Jaji Sibali will be the new champion.
Well, and Nkoko needs a big round here, possibly a knockout. And he seems to know it too.
I believe he needs a knockout to win this one. Last round knockouts has happened in boxing before. Remember the fight of Richie Cates and Victor Kalinde?
I was right there and saw it all. Magnificent performance by Stan Christodoulou as well.
And remember our local fights. Remember Christopher Dlamini against Raf Kimgard in Johannesburg too, at Orlando Stadium.
Well, those are fights you dream about. Right now, it's Lybo Nkoko, Jaji Sibali. 2 minutes away, not even 3, 2 minutes away. And one of these men is going to walk off with the new South African junior bantamweight title. And our card is Sibali.
That man will make history. He'll be the first.
Well, it will be a popular one if Sibali does manage to sneak it. Well, this fight has stayed a clash of wills all the way through 12. Neither man really has asked or given anything.
I wonder what Nkoko's cornermen are thinking there. When you have a guy who can make it, but the guy doesn't make it because he's just not doing well enough. Do you shout at the guy? Do you shake the guy out? Do you beat the guy?
Well, I think that's the style, the natural style of the counter puncher. Unfortunately, at times it doesn't work for you. You need to be a little more aggressive.
Sometimes that's true.
Some good punching by Sibali in the middle of the ring. And Nkoko looked a little worried there. Sibali just turns Nkoko around there. Well, one thing Jaji Sibali is not is a cautious puncher. He's prepared to throw everything.
He throws his what you call hammer and tongs fighter. He throws cautions to the wind. And he goes for his man. And if the job can be done, he will do it. And if the job cannot be done, then you will see that he tries his best, which is what boxing is all about.
Well, I think that may have won him the fight. Well, remains to be seen. I think it's going to go to a decision.
I believe he has won this one. And on my scorecard, I have him a winner by 4 points now. Winning all the last 4 rounds on a trot. That's it.
Well, both men raise the arms skyward. Got to try and influence the judges in any way you can. And Nkoko threw the last punch of the fight, but that wasn't the pattern through the fight. Sibali certainly worked harder. And on our cards, at any rate, may have done enough to win this vacant title.
This was a really good fight. In fact, I think we saw almost everything. We saw jabs, we saw body punching, we saw bobbing and weaving by Lybo Nkoko. He even showed us lateral movement. We saw a lot of aggression by Jaji Sibali, throwing punches from the body to the head. And at the end, I think his work rate won in the fight.
An exciting new division then in South African boxing, certainly not in international boxing. We've fallen into line now with the way it's done in America, the junior bantamweight division. And, well, maybe we'll throw up a few stars in this division.
I think we are still going to see a lot of good fights here because we have another one called Simpue Pamana here. He's the Cape Province Junior Bantamweight champion. And we have also Toto Mokoroto, who is probably one of the brightest prospects we have at the moment. And the winner here, which I think will be Jaji on our scorecards, will be having to defend against one of those boys. And what a fight that would be.
Yes, indeed. Man who should know, of course, Luisi Mcha, my co-commentator this afternoon, manages Andrew Machala. What's in the offing now for Andrew?
Andrew will be defending his title against Daniel Ward on the 20th of June here in East London. And I think that is one fight that will make people sit up and take notice and realize that Andrew Machala is a worthy and a world-class champion. Like it happened, welcome that he had to beat the likes of Haley Sneed, Sugar Baby Rojas for the second time, and the last defense for people to realize what a worthy champion that is. He is. And I believe that Andrew Machala on the 20th of August will stand up above all else and prove that he is a champion and an international fighter of the future.
By 3 judges. Judge Pambor, 115, 116.
115,
Judge
116.
Bini, 112, 118.
112,
and Judge
118.
Bandesi, 113, 116.
113,
And the
116.
winner and the new South African
new champion.
Junior Bantamweight champion is Jaji.
Jaji. We were right. He scored by a margin of about 4 points on all the cards, and that means that also our scorecard here was right. They must let us judge another fight. We are pros in this game.
Well, a pat on the back for the two of us then. A good win for Jaji Sibali, the new South African junior bantamweight title holder. And who knows what doors now this will throw open for Jaji. A very popular hometown win, and did well to get through the fight without cutting either.
That was very good work on his part, and the very good work on his corner. And like you say, a lot of doors are opening for him, as a lot of doors are opening for South Africa. That now he's going to go for a world rating, and maybe in a few months, from 12 to 18 months, he might be fighting for a world title now.
Well, there we go then from East London. Very happy news as far as the local fans are concerned. A win for Jaji Sibali. With that, it's back to the studio.